In this session, we're going to discuss how to enter bills at the enterprise. So from my home ribbon, I'm going to go to purchases to enter bills. Now, the one thing you got to remember about entering bills is bills mean you're going to enter an invoice that is going to go to a payable. It's going to go to a payable. What that means is the payable needs to be set up as enterprise managed, and you need to make sure that they are set up as a supplier at the enterprise. So when I go to home ribbon and go to contacts, let's go pull up a contact. I have a contact in here called Napa, and they are going to be an enterprise payable account, and they're a supplier. So at the enterprise, which is where I'm at, I'm going to right click and do an edit. Go to details, and I need to make sure at the supplier settings, they're set up as a supplier. Now, typically, I'm not going to purchase parts or sublet or warranty at the enterprise, but I do want to set it as a general supplier. That will allow you to enter bills into this payable account at the enterprise. And just as a quick review, underneath accounting, you're going to see that they're set up to be a enterprise manage payable, and it's going to be available at all 3 of my locations. So in order to enter a bill at the enterprise, I need to go to that supplier here and make sure that they are turned on as a supplier with the enterprise payable. So once I'm in bills, you're going to have a search and a reset here at the top left corner. You can enter a new bill here. You can come down here to the bottom and you can actually pull up any bills that you have entered but have not posted to the payable, or ones that have been posted to the payable. So you can search by date. You got a start and end date here you can search by. You can pick any particular vendor you want to go look for. You can look at the status, whether it's been posted or not, and you can search by the invoice number. So if I say, well, let's look at all bills that have been posted, let's say this year, I hit search, it'll pull them up. Oop, now look at what I did. I pulled up only this one vendor. Now I want to go look at all my bills. So a nice little trick that we have here, if you just hit reset, it's going to switch it to all vendors, does that automatically. Now let's go look at this year that have been posted. That's the only thing that's been posted this year. Posted means we've sent it to the payable to be paid. Now I can open the bill, I can look at it here, I can print it, email it, I can duplicate. But I cannot change anything on this. I can even look at if it was allocated out to the different locations and what percentage or amount. So let's go see how we actually enter a bill. So anytime I enter a bill and I want to enter it at the payables in the enterprise, I just simply come in here, I go to new bill, set the date of my bill, whatever the date is. Who is the vendor? Who is the vendor? So let's say I got a bill from Napa. Put in my invoice number, whatever that is. You can put a little note on what the bill is for. Maybe we got some tools or something and some supplies. Once I have that set, now I'm going to go click on Add, and that adds a line. So what that's going to do is that's going to open the entire general ledger. So by opening the entire general ledger, now I can pick where I want to put this. So let's say I did get some tools from Napa. Let's say I got a new ratchet or something. And put in the amount. Let's say it's $75. Now on this same invoice, I may have also gotten some shop supplies for one or two of the stores. So we're going to look for shop supplies here. Itemize it however you like. And then put in the amount for the supplies. So let's say it was $265. So now I've added two different line items to go to two different expense accounts. Once I have this set, I want to allocate what locations I want this expense to go to. So once I click on allocate, and before I do that, let's make sure we have everything entered. Okay, we got it all entered. So we're going to hit allocate. I can pick which location or will it locations. So let's say it's going to go to these two locations. Hit OK. Now let's see what we can do. So here is that first line I entered, the tools and equipment. Well, this tool happened to go to location 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allocate 100% of that expense to location 2. And it's going to go to tools and equipment. Now the shop supplies might have been split between location 2 and location 3. You're just going to put in whatever percentage or dollar amount. Let's say $150 went to this location. And then the balance is going to go to the other location. So what I've done is I've done two single entries, and then turned around and split it up between two different locations. I select OK. Now, if you had more entries, it's just going to add more to it. See, they'll just add another section in here. So at this point, if I'm ready and I'm completely done with this, I can post this to the payable account. Now, sometimes you may need to do adjustments. You can always come in here and do a tax adjustment if needed, maybe a supplies or something like that. If you add a line by mistake, you just simply click it. You can delete it, and you can go back and add another line. On some of these bills that are reoccurring, it's the same bill over and over every month. You can do two things here. If it's the exact same amount, the only thing it really changes would be a new invoice number and a new date. Then you can duplicate a bill. If I have a bill that's reoccurring that the dollar amounts change quite a bit, then what that does is that leads me to what we call favorites. So I can actually enter this into my favorites list. I can call it whatever I want to call it here. And that'll actually create a copy of that for me that I can use again and again. Once you add something in the favorites, you're going to see the little yellow star here. You can print an email in PDF. If you're not ready to post it, you can save it. That will actually store it under bills as not posted. Not posted. So if I search, there it is. I double click, open it up, and then I can edit, change whatever I need to change. If I don't want it at all, At that point, I can delete it. But if that's good to go, I post, and now that will be sent to the payable account to be paid. So why would I ever want to duplicate a bill? Sometimes we get bills that are reoccurring every month at the exact same amount every month. So whenever I enter the bill, let's say I have a reoccurring advertising bill with Napa that I get charged every month. It's $100. I get it on the first of the month. So I go find my vendor. I'm just going to call it the advertising invoice. And I'm just going to put, since this is September, for September, add a line. And it's going to be for advertising. Put in my dollar amount. Now, do I want to allocate this bill? I certainly can. I can split it up. Let's say it's going to be between all three stores. When I was going to have to pay a little extra. There we go. So now I just split it up between the three stores. Hit OK. So now I have this bill created and ready to go. Now, before I post this, what I can do is I can duplicate it and say, okay, this is going to be my next month's bill. So this might be advertising for October. And then I can even duplicate that. So you can duplicate this as many times as you want. And we'll go do November. See, each one, the due date's going to change. So now I post. It's just letting me know it's over 30 days in the future, which is fine. I'm going to post this one. And we'll post this one. So let's go look at the payable real quick and see how that's going to lay out in there. So I'm going to go to accounting. I'm in my payables, so we'll go pull up Napa. And if we scroll down here, see, here's my first advertising bill. There's my second for October, and there's November. Now they're just waiting to be paid. Any bill that I save in my favorites, the next time I need to use it, I do not have to come back here at all. I can simply go from the home ribbon over to favorites. There it is. I hit create. It just brings up a copy of the last entry. I set my new date, whatever it is, my new reference number. And at this point, I can still change anything I want. I can change what expense account, how much it's allocated, how much money, the description, the notes, anything and everything. You can actually override any part of this that you want. And then when you're ready, you just post it, and it'll still be a copy of that original one in the favorites. So favorites are going to give you the capability of storing any of this reoccurring stuff that you want to use over and over. If you happen to have one that you're not using anymore, just highlight it, delete, that gets rid of it. As you start to get quite a few favorites in here, then you have the capability here of searching. Just start typing a name in, it'll pull it up. So if I want to delete this one, we can delete it, and there we go. It always lets you know on the far right side the last time it was entered, the most recent posting, and the dollar amount. And again, anytime I reuse one of these and I hit create, I can change anything I want here. Anything I want. That's how to enter bills. Just remember, the key thing about a bill is when I go to do this, I need to make sure that that payable account is set up as a supplier at the enterprise.